Are you worried about Caleb Williams 3 practices in where there's not even contact with a new offense? Wouldn't you agree this isn't the time or the place to even have that conversation yet?
Hell no. I mean, how much footage has Colin Cowherd seen? And I like the guy. I think he's very clever on radio and TV and everything. But if you're not out there watching every single snap from installation to teamwork, you can't really base any type of opinion because you don't see him enough. And the difficulty of installing an entire offense to 45 guys that don't know anything yet, it makes it triple difficult for the coaching staff.
TCU wide receiver, what is it, JP? Is it
JP Richardson.
JP Richardson. We saw him make a one-handed diving catch the other day. Courtney Cronin tweeted about him again today, saying for the first 3 days, he's made highlight plays every day. Do we have ourselves the next Tom Waddle?
You know, I heard that conversation brought up a couple times today at practice, and Waddle's name was brought up. And, you know, what's been kind of fun is because, you know, one thing about watching a receiver, first of all, is that receiver good with every quarterback? Is that receiver good in one-on-ones? Is he as good in installation? Is he as good in 7-on-7? Is he as good in the red zone? Is he good in the middle of the field? And that's the unique thing about this kid is he's good at everything for every quarterback, no matter what DB that he's being covered by. He's got that fluidity. He's tough to be a predetermined defensive back to know exactly where the kid's going. And then, like Waddle, if you put it in his area, he's going to make the catch. So I think, you know, it's kind of nice to have a guy at this stage in the Bears of the 2000s, you know, and still referencing Waddle. I think that was as complimentary to T. Waddle as it was to Richardson himself.
You must have been talking to some really old people today up there. That
no,
must have
that's
been the case.
Thing about it, T, is, you know, they keep bringing. Like I said, it's super complimentary because in between your time here and his time here, that's a big gap. And if they're still referring to this kid as, you know, the next Tom Waddle, I think that's pretty neat for both of you guys.
Well, that is very complimentary, and I appreciate it. And I'm not saying this to be a wise ass, but the longer guys like Luther Burden aren't on the field, the more opportunities guys like JP Richardson get an opportunity to impress people. Am I right?
Yeah, that's the thing about it is when you look at the line of your position, and as soon as somebody in front of you is interrupted that they have to go out or they tweak something, or man, that's all I'm looking for is I want that next man up, that next, you know, guy up mentality. I remember one year going out to camp and we were in Platteville and I was looking at the line of tight ends and I think it was like 8 or 10 long. And I was thinking of the last guy in line there going, wow, is this guy ever going to get a chance? Then all of a sudden, boom, boom, 2 guys are injured. And the next thing you know, in 3 tight end sets and goal line short yardage, this guy is in the mix. And so don't ever think you're out of it. Yeah. And that's the cool thing about this Richardson kid is whatever they're asking him to do and whatever drill it is, he's going out and doing it.
All right, Tom, outside of Richardson, what have you seen being up there watching them practice the first 3 days, obviously without pads?
You know, that's the thing about it without pads. You know, I think so when you're bringing in a new coaching staff, you're bringing in a new head coach, Ben Johnson. Nobody knows the system as well as Ben Johnson. So when you're bringing, if you have a 90-man roster, 45 of them are on offense. And every one of these guys are learning the job for the first time. So there's nobody there giving anybody advice because they've been in the system and they've been here. You know, this is what you got to do and this is your assignment. No, everybody's trying to learn. And you can see it's not necessarily cautiousness. It's just they really don't know what they're doing yet to the speed of the NFL. So repetitiously things are learned on offense. So maybe in another week and a half, we're going to really see what this offense can offer the Bears this year. I think right now all these guys are trying to catch up. They're running a million plays. Unfortunately and fortunately, the first 2 days of no pads, it was like 200 degrees out there. So that's a factor as well. But when you talk about starting a new football team in the offseason with a clean slate, every one of these guys, well, that slate's starting to happen now. And especially Monday when they're in full pads, when you're thinking, okay, is the technique of the offensive tackles, is it up to par, and can they go out there and compete against the defensive line they're playing against? The defense is playing a lot faster than the offense is right now, so the offense is going to have to catch up to where the defense is to make practices more competitive, from the time they break the huddle and get into the right formation till they snap the ball and get into wherever they're supposed to be depending upon position.
Such a good explanation by you. So when you hear, and later in the show I want to play you like Colin Cowherd, for instance, like he's like sounding the alarm basically for Caleb, or other people are worried, and that it's even a topic like that. Oh, are you worried about Caleb Williams 3 practices in where there's not even contact with a new offense? Wouldn't you agree this isn't the time or the place to even have that conversation yet?
Hell no. I mean, how much footage has Colin Cowherd seen? And I like the guy. I think he's very clever on radio and TV and everything. But if you're not out there watching every single snap from installation to teamwork, you can't really base any type of opinion because you don't see him enough. And the difficulty of installing an entire offense to 45 guys that don't know anything yet, it makes it triple difficult for the coaching staff. When I came to the Bears, this system was already in place. So I could look at Hilge and I could look at Horn when I'm trying to be caught up to speed, and they can tell me every single thing about every single guy's assignment on offense. And that was one of the challenges of Dick Stanfeld. He says, I should be able to put you up on the board, tell you a play, and you should write every single guy's assignment. Nobody can do that. And so give him time. Give him time to start understanding the play that's being called into his headset, what he's saying in the huddle, and then what it means at the line of scrimmage from the defense that you're seeing. So I think any predetermined, conclusive thoughts about Caleb is unfair to him, and it's irresponsible of whomever's saying them.
What do you make of Ben Johnson coaching and his style of coaching?
I love it, man, because I love him and Dennis Allen, the two of them, because Dennis Allen, he's an amped-up guy, and he has a lot of high expectations for his defense and how he wants things to be run and how quickly he wants them to play. And you can see the difference on the defensive line already from where they were over the last 5 to 10 years. And then that increases the competitiveness of what Ben Johnson wants out of his offense. He's going to have to be patient because they are going to go through growing pains. But I think the patience will lessen every day, especially when you get into pads, and then you can judge a little bit more football skills because they're actually playing football.
Do you have an idea how the left tackle competition is going to work itself out? And if so, are you willing to share that with us, or are you going to keep that to yourself?
No, listen, I think everyone, first of all, Karan Amagaji, he looks the part. He looks good in his stance. He looks good working with Joe Tooney or whoever else, Bill Murray, whoever else they have at the left guard position. And then you have a big guy that really doesn't understand the realistic speed of NFL football, and Ozzie Trapillo. He's a big guy. My only concern is, and I've said it since the day they drafted him, does he have relatable feet and balance from right tackle to left tackle? Because the difficulty in that can't be understated. It would be like telling you got to report to Dancing with the Stars tomorrow, and you have to have your dance down. It's just not going to happen. So,
Tom, can you tell quickly if that is an issue from watching him play even without pads, or will it take some time for you to come to that conclusion?
I think it's something that has stood out since he got here. I just have to make sure that he understands his assignment so perfectly that he can put his feet in the right position. But then if he has to redirect against an outside shoulder defensive end who's cutting across his face, you got to be able to react with your feet. You can't just reach out. And so that's one of the things watching Ozzie throughout training camp. I'm going to watch his redirective feet again, with balance and leverage.
And finally, real quick, with regard to, if you go with your starter from last year, are you concerned that his leg injury is something that would have prevented him from getting the strength that he needed to begin with? Braxton Jones was more of a basketball-type body. Are you concerned that the injury may have robbed him of the opportunity to get stronger in an area that he really needed to?
I am. That's my biggest concern for Braxton. I love the kid. I love everything about him and what he's been able to do. But when you have a leg injury of that severity, but you're still expected to go out and spend an offseason trying to squat 500 or 600 pounds, get on a leg press with 800 or 900 pounds on it, does it affect the mobility of your ankle? And does it affect your ability to push the type of weights to be competitive at an NFL level?
Tom, great stuff as always. Congratulations on the start of year number 29. We'll get in contact.
The furniture year.
Yeah, we're going to get in contact with Steinhoffels.
Yeah.
Would you like a new chair for the booth? I mean, would that be a good gift from the radio station?
No, listen, man, I got everything I need, and I'm super appreciative of it. I'm appreciative of the opportunity to be in the booth with you guys.
Well, you're great at what you do. I mean, Tom, thank you.
Thanks,
we appreciate you.
All right, man. See you guys.
Every Friday during football season, we
He's the
talk to our
best.
guy, the Super Bowl champion. He really is.
Yeah.